sit up in your shorts. You're killing me. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. I was at another meeting and I've run late today, so thank you very much for your patience. At this time, may we come to order. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the City of Madeira Beach Board of Commissioners Special Workshop Meeting. Today is Tuesday, July 12th, and the time is 4:44 p.m. Would the City Clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Palladino?
Here.
Commissioner Paul?
Here.
Commissioner Lister?
Here.
Commissioner Hodges? Here.
All right. Mr. City Manager, would you proceed with the topics for this afternoon?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I appreciate you all coming in for the special meeting. This will probably negate the need for a workshop later this month. Number one on your agenda is a presentation from EPIC, the Environmental Preservation Initiative for our communities. I believe this was initially started in regards to the straw issue, the plastic and paper straw issue, and it's snowballed from there. And Greg Tong from EPIC is here tonight to give us a short presentation on it. Both the City of Madeira Beach and City of Treasure Island have kind of decided to hold hands and move forward with this. So with that, I'd like to introduce Greg Tong from EPIC.
It's kind of tough being first, but I'll tell you, this particular program definitely should be number one on our list. My name is Gregory Tong. I'm Board Director for the Treasure Island Madeira Beach Chamber of Commerce and Chair for EPIC. EPIC stands for the Environmental Preservation Initiative for Communities. Co-chaired by Sunny Flynn, by the way. I think everybody knows who she is. President of Jones Pass Village Association. The Treasure Island Madeira Beach Chamber of Commerce are proud to announce that we have formed a program for year-round focus on clean air, clean water, clean energy, and the preservation of our Gulf beaches and communities. Our goal is to empower businesses and residents in and around our communities towards long-term prosperity through economic, environmental, and social sustainability with respect to the business's bottom line. I think a lot of people, whenever they hear recyclable and whatnot, they think it's going to cost a lot. And we do understand that, and that's not the case as it was 10 years ago. We are very excited to announce that we have teamed up with the Surfrider Foundation Suncoast chapter. Together with the Suncoast Surfrider Foundation, we will be collaborating on a phased approach to support local Gulf community-friendly businesses through education and empowerment. Our mission is, with the inevitable growth between the communities, whether it be development or redevelopment, is to empower the businesses and residents in our communities towards long-term prosperity through the economic, environmental, and social sustainability, and hope to attract the proper hotels that plan on developing or redeveloping here, and other businesses that come in to respect what we want. I have to pause for a second. Every time that I stand here, I look out that window and see that amazing view. We want to preserve that, and that's part of our program. Everything that you put into the drainage system, especially the liquids, ends up in our bay. So we definitely want to preserve that. At this point, I'm going to jump around just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and show a video, and then I'll go into the PowerPoint presentation. I'll make it as quickly as possible so I can have time for questions from y'all.
All right, if you visited bars or restaurants along our beaches lately, you may have noticed something a little different in your drink. It's not what you're drinking, it's how you're drinking it. No more plastic straws. Part of a growing movement to clean up our Gulf Coast. Haley Hines out there on Treasure Island with what it's all about. Haley.
Yeah, well, if you stop by Caddy's on the beach, your waiter will first ask you if you even want a straw with your drink. And if you say yes, well, you'll get one of these, a paper straw, not a plastic one. It's just one of a growing number of businesses throughout Treasure Island and Madeira Beach joining the EPIC initiative. It started with one picture. Julie Featherston's 5-year-old son Harper with a handful of sandy plastic straws on Sunset Beach.
We see straws, we see cigarette butts, we see the plastic, pieces.
once it made the rounds, well, that was the last straw.
It caused this really large movement that took off.
Less than a year later, the impact has been epic, as in the environmental preservation initiative of our communities. Treasure Island and Madeira Beach Chamber of Commerce just launched the movement. Their first target, bars and restaurants.
Some of the mandatories that we're asking for is plastic straws upon request, and/or paper straw substitute, no carry-out plastic bags.
With no ordinance passed, the campaign is voluntary, but it's catching on.
We first ask our guests is to take a straw upon request only, and we're using a paper alternative that's biodegradable.
Caddies on the beach was among the first to make the switch. Sure, plastic straws cost more, but they're not handing out as many.
And it makes you realize, something that you just took for granted is something as simple as a plastic straw, about what it can do to the environment.
Daiquiri Shack in Madeira Beach changes over on Monday. No more styrofoam cups, only paper to-go boxes and bags, and straws in non-alcoholic drinks by request only. It may sound minor, but those little pieces of plastic not only pollute the beach, they wreak havoc on wildlife. This video of a sea turtle near Costa Rica went viral last year, exposing how damaging one straw can be.
Say, hey, you know what, if that could happen there, it could happen here, so let's be proactive.
There are still customers not ready to ditch the plastic, even bringing their own straws. Those behind the movement know, with anything, it's one step at a time.
Shouldn't just be about straws. There's a big picture out here.
Both mayors from Treasure Island and Madeira Beach are fully backing the program. They want it to be permanent. You'll even see some police officers soon passing out pamphlets on this. The Epic Group hopes to build a green model here, one that can be used in beach communities throughout the states. Mark?
One more reason that we have some of the best beaches around. Haley, thanks very much. All right, if you visited bars or restaurants.
Okay, while I'm switching over to the PowerPoint, I do want to explain this is a voluntary program. It's a feel-good program. It's a lot easier to go up to somebody and say, hey, let's try to work together, rather than what there's some talk about Treasure Island having a ban on plastics or plastic straws only. And that's why we took up the initiative to not only focus on the plastics, but let's try to become a green community on a voluntary basis. I want to get this full screen. This is my son Hunter, by the way. He's in for the summer from Georgia Tech. Okay. How do I change slides here? There we go. Treasure Island Madeira Beach Chamber of Commerce has formed EPIC to develop comprehensive set of voluntary programs to engage businesses and citizens in maintaining our clean air, clean water, and clean beaches. The program one is simply the restaurants and bars. There's quite a bit of pollution that our tourists take part in, and so on and so forth. And if we can offer something different, then they won't be taking part in that. And hopefully down the road there we'll get some like-minded tourists that'll respect what we have around here. The second part of the program will be hotels, which we're building that program right now. And also in regards to program one, we're looking within a couple weeks of rolling that out officially. Just waiting on some print materials and some finalization with an attorney. And then program three would be other businesses, such as an insurance business, if you happen to be Jim Everett and own a Allstate agency or whatnot. Make sure they're using recycled paper if they want to get on board with that. Tourism, 15 million plus annual visitors in the Tampa Bay area, over 9 billion in economic impact, 89% is for travel or leisure. And this will impact everything that we have around us. We're at the pilot program right now with Madeira Beach and Treasure Island. And as you heard in the newscast, we're looking at statewide, but I think you'll see this affecting the Tampa Bay area very quickly. The voluntary criteria is no styrofoam. We really want to get rid of the styrofoam. It takes forever it just doesn't degrade. Plastic straws and lids only upon request. You'll see A lot of people are already changing over to the paper straws or are already doing that now. Before we even have the program up and running, they've already jumped on this, including the ones in Madeira Beach, and no plastic bags for takeout. Either give them some sort of a fiber or paper or no bag whatsoever. The proper recycling, if feasible, is in regards to if you're able to recycle, we'll call a service to come out there, evaluate your situation, and if it's not feasible, like there's a lot of places in Johns Pass where you just don't have the room to have the recyclable containers and all that. We understand that, but we really want to, if you're able to be able to recycle. And I think everybody can kind of cruise through the optionals, and we're asking for a minimum of 3 optionals to go along with the 4 mandatories. Suncoast Surfrider Foundation, they're not here today, but I can tell you they are a very powerful group. They're done worldwide, in fact, and they have been a force on this. They have quite a few members, over 300 members just in the Suncoast chapter right now, and you can see their coalition partners, Sierra Club, Audubon, Be Free, Be Plastic Free, so on and so forth. And these are large groups that they're teamed up with, and we're also teaming up with these same people or being part of that coalition. And it's a great cause. And I think one of the things I can say in the meantime is both of our mayors, one with Bob Menning, he happens to be an environmentalist himself. He happens to be part of the Sierra Club. Everything, all of a sudden I start going to all these meetings and I hear his name left and right. And I hear these stories from Mayor Palladino where he's fishing offshore 20 miles away and he sees the waste out there. And it does hurt our ecological system here. They're, again, Surfrider. You can see 500 million plastic straws every day. The foam does not deteriorate. And they will be coming out quarterly, doing more beach cleanups. They're already very involved with our beaches, and we appreciate them for that very much. Right here, you'll see a comparison. And we're in the experimental phase. And to be honest with you, it's the businesses that are in the experimental phase because they really want to get on board with this. And the prices are varying a little bit. But you'll see the recycled is 22%, compostable 31 cents per set. But I can tell you, just like Jeremy Runo over there at the Daiquiri Shack, he's already gotten a better deal. And we plan on sharing this information, and hopefully we'll be able to have more buying power for these people to accept that little bit of a cost increase. And also you'll see some of our sponsors, Kathleen Peters, Biltmore Beach Resort, Johns Pass Village Association, William Carnes Enterprises, unbelievable, look at that. ServPro, Sloppy Joe's, in Treasure Island Beach Resort, you look at the actual businesses there, they're about on board. They're ready to go. And they'll be some of the first that we're signing up. So what we're asking for today is the full support of the city to say, yeah, this is a good program.
And Greg, meeting with the group and hanging out with y'all was great after our first meeting, the first thing, and then coming back to the commission, and that we were able to go ahead and start getting in place, the water filling stations, the water bottle filling stations out on the beaches, and I'm sure the city manager will kind of update us on where that's been. But I know Dave Marsicano and his staff did such a great job finding one, they were actually able to find 2. So hopefully that's moving right along. And the second thing I know was the plastic bags. The plastic bags, if most people don't realize what these plastic bags do, sea turtles eat jellyfish. Well, these plastic bags look like jellyfish, these sea turtles. So they eat them, and of course what happens is they choke on them, choke to death. And we have seen many cases offshore where you've seen sea turtles with bags around their heads. But, it's a great job, and to the commission of the city of Madeira Beach, what these folks are doing is an outstanding job. And from the things that I know that I've brought up in the city manager and the commission and the city's done is we spend extra money on our beach rake, and a rake that does pick up cigarette butts, it does pick up straws. So, I mean, the city has been very proactive before this group has come even forward. And I know maybe you've heard this, but I know I've had a talk with the president of Surf Riders, and there's many mayors here in Pinellas County that are very upset with a few of our neighbors after this big storm dumping raw sewage straight from into our bays and into our Gulf. So there's actually a coalition of mayors getting together to work with them to hit these cities and try to get these problems straightened out. So I applaud you and your group, and for the citizens and the residents and the commissions and cities that work with you.
Thank you very much.
So, Commission?
My only question, Greg, is are you putting your logo up in the participating restaurants and hotels? Or how do we recognize that somebody's participating in the program, other than going to your website?
Very good question. What'll happen is if you're a chamber member, of course, the program's free to you. Sure. And we're kicking around it if you're not a chamber member part of it, because there is a cost incurred. It's not cheap to do a program like this, but it's something that's definitely needed. So what your benefits will be, you'll get table toppers, you'll get a sticker in your window from Surfrider and Epic from each one. And there's going to be some website recognition. And actually a special web page on the Treasure Island Madeira Beach Chamber of Commerce, and also on the Surfrider Foundation to be included on their website and Facebook. So yes, there will be recognition, and the best recognition of all is for the tourists to understand that we are saving our environment or preserving our environment.
Absolutely, yeah, I agree with you. Thank you very much.
So, Mr. Mayor and the Commissioners, if you're on board with backing the EPIC campaign, they've asked to have an employee appointed to their, what's the committee? Is it just the
EPIC committee?
And I spoke with Mr. Marsicano this morning, and we feel that Deb Laramie would probably be the best fit for a spot on that committee. So if it's the will of the committee to proceed forward, I'll be appointing her to that committee, and we'll keep fighting the good fight.
And Mr. City Manager, and to the commission, actually Deb Laramie has shown up to every meeting I've been to, so Deb has pretty much been on board. So I think that would be a fantastic choice. She's got a green thumb and she knows these beaches.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with Debbie, she's been environmentally conscious for decades. She's fantastic.
I've met her a few times at the last meetings, and I've heard nothing but great things about her.
Good girl.
So it would be a very welcome addition to our committee.
So do we have a consensus from the commission to let the city manager move forward with the appointment of Debbie Laramie to the EPIC committee?
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes.
Okay. Great, thank you, man, and I look forward to seeing you all at the next meeting.
Thank you very much.
All right, next update on utility undergrounding project. Mr. Tart, how are you doing today, sir?
Mr. Mayor, maybe we can kick this off with staff, and I'd like to hand it off to Mr. Marsicano. That, again, everybody understands the challenges that this project has brought. I'd like to have Dave kind of update you as to where we've gotten and why we've kind of taken not necessarily a timeout, but at least an opportunity to regroup and see where we're at on this project, because budgetarily wise, I did not include an additional $3 million to be borrowed in the next year's budget to finish this project, just due to the complexity and frankly we just haven't had a whole lot of luck with it. And so with that, I'd like to hand it off to Dave, and then we can get an update from Steve.
Good afternoon. Shane covered it. It has been a very tough project. Steve is going to update you on where we are. But this was a test phase to see exactly what it was going to take to get this put into the ground. And it has. We've got all of the conduit in the ground. We're awaiting Duke to come in and put everything into the ground. But moving forward, we might have a different recommendation. With that, I'll pass it over to Steve.
Good afternoon. So where we're at on the test section is, so as Dave said, the conduit is actually finishing this week. There's one run for the LED lighting that goes across Paso Grill Way, across Gulf Boulevard yet this week, and there's a little bit of work to be done behind the 7-Eleven. And then from there, Duke starts Monday on putting their boxes and stuff in the ground, some of the pads and that for the larger gear. That will be going on the week of 7/18 and the week of 7/25. And then that's the immediate stuff. And then after that, the boring contractor comes back in. We run what's called a mandrel through all the pipes to make sure that they're good to go. And then Duke comes back and starts pulling wires through the conduits. Bright House comes in and does theirs. And then they basically come through, put all the new gear on the ground down off the poles, and they flip everything over, and then when they're done with that, they come in and pull the poles out. So that's kind of where we are at right now on the north phase. Kind of as Dave and Shane alluded to, kind of lessons learned. One of the lessons is we can place everything under the sidewalks and in the right-of-way, which is good, because then that's, for maintenance and issues, it remains Duke's responsibility, and that was the whole point of doing it in the right-of-way the way that we did. The tougher part is that it is a difficult work on the west side, and particularly for the transmission lines and the amount of things that go on. And, you know, the issues that we've run into in terms of utilities that weren't necessarily marked very well, and the routes that it takes, and just is very congested, has made it difficult. And with that, it's also, as we started looking at phase two and getting some prices on that, some hard prices from contractors and various things, that it became very apparent that the scarcity of boring contractors, the economy's gotten better, and the difficulty of the work, that price is raised, which has pushed us to the decision that Shane made in terms of not suggesting for this year to borrow the additional funding, because this has elevated the project. And there were some, and so that's kind of where we're at on phase one. Questions around that?
No, I know phase one's been kind of difficult.
Yeah.
Moving that forward, and I've had a chance to talk to the city manager, Dave Marcicano, so actually phase two section is what I'm more interested in.
Right.
But I have to disagree that I think phase one was a complete success. I mean, I really do, because the reason that we did phase one is to see if we could continue and do phase two, and that's not going to happen.
Right.
I mean, it's actually just,
Right.
we've learned a lot from this phase one, from this 3.5 block area. It's huge. We did exactly what we
appreciate
wanted to do.
And I
We wanted to
appreciate
spend the less money to see if it was going to be feasible to do the 3.5 miles or the 2.5 miles of Madeira Beach. So I think it's been a huge success. Absolutely.
The beating didn't feel that way.
And we've learned a lot.
It doesn't feel that way, I agree. It does not, I understand.
It did exactly what we wanted it to do, Steve, and thank you for doing it.
Yeah, so I think in layman's terms, we gave it a shot and it didn't exactly pan out. And so what we didn't want to do is checkerboard the community, so to speak, and just let's blow the money and just go south until we stop. And we have no idea really where that was going to be. And I don't think that's fair for the, you know, what side of the city are you going to start on? And it has to be only Gulf Boulevard, so we can't do 150th, we can't do Madeira Way. So I think we're still kind of circling the airport on getting costs, and I think what's going to end up happening is after we finish this first phase, we'll come to you with a new plan that basically just buries the east-west wires, which is what we had initially discussed, and we'll hopefully be able to afford that with the remainder money that's left over from the county. And in this effort, you're actually spending $3 million less. Now, you will have north-south wires going, but this will clean everything up too. Dave actually sent me a picture. It's absolutely ridiculous of just old unused coiled wire, you know, hung up on a wooden, you know, pole that's half, you know, cocked over, and it's got another brace trying to keep it up. You know, everything will get cleaned up, and the lights will be updated and that type of thing. So it'll definitely be an improvement. And as you drive, you won't see anything east-west, but you're going to see this again probably on the next agenda, hopefully, because we'll have the numbers to let you know. But the city manager's budget that you're going to get tonight does not include any additional dollars to be borrowed to finish the utility project at $3 million plus what we've got.
Any other questions for Mr. Tartar, the city manager, Dave Marcicano? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lister, great way to look at it. The glass is half full.
Absolutely.
All right, next discussion on Board of Commissioners ballot and selection of candidate for District 4. Mr. City Attorney, would you want to go ahead and start that, or?
I can. Your charter provides in section 2.2C3 that when there's a vacancy of a seat, a commissioner's seat, that this commission has 30 days in which to appoint another commissioner. That vote is taken from the remaining, majority of the remaining members of the commission. You remember that the vice mayor resigned on June 14th, and so that makes, the deadline July 14th. And so it's appropriate to do it tonight, obviously. It's my understanding that this ballot process has been sent out, and the city has received, in fact, 3 individuals based upon a search of the city and request for individuals to place their name. The ballot has been taken. We need to reaffirm that tonight, and then appoint the appropriate individual based upon that ballot vote. And then I will have to go ahead and swear in that person once appointed. I'm not sure if the city manager has any additional information. I will tell you, though, that this person that's going to fill this position will hold that position until the next regular election. And then that seat will be open for an election, and the person that is being nominated would be considered an incumbent.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. Is there any comments from staff or the city clerk's office?
The only comment I would have is, do we want to divulge who the winning candidate was? That's why I put it on the agenda, so there would be no suspense or shock at the BOC.
Yes, I think that we should go through the 3 names. I didn't know if you wanted to do that or you wanted me to do that, but
Feel free.
I'll go ahead and do that. Then in your staffing that you've got, you can see that there were 3 applicants, and I hope I don't butcher this name: John Douthert, Joseph Falla, and Hush Gavahi. All have applied. They filled out the application and have provided certain information. And then the ballot was submitted to each one of the commissioners. And as a direct result of that ballot, it looks at this point that Mr. Gavahi is the one that received the, and in this case, the lowest number, because he was placed in first position. And so he would be the appropriate person to appoint based upon that balloting that was done. And so we would expect then the commission, in considering that at the regular meeting, to appoint Mr. Gavahi, and then I would swear him in.
All right, and Mr. City Attorney, at this time, would you need a consensus from the commission to validate the candidate?
My suggestion is that we do that at the regular meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there any questions from the commission?
No.
No, and I'd just like to thank all the applicants that put in their applications, and just thank you very much. Is that all we need to go and cover at this time, Mr. City Attorney, on that topic?
Yes, sir. That's.
All right, I guess next update on Board of Commissioners, Rotary representative due to the District 4 resignation. And Mr. City Manager, do you want me to proceed with that, or would you like to proceed with that?
Yeah, I can do it, Mr. Mayor,
Okay.
because there is a piece of information that you're unaware of.
Okay.
Again, Commissioner, or ex-Commissioner Shantz was our Rotary representative. I believe back in the day she was the First Lady President of that Rotary. I went to the last meeting, and I don't get to go every Tuesday, but I go as many times as I can. And they informed me that they want to give her an honorary membership to the Rotary, so she'll continue to go. However, we have a resolution on the books that sponsors a city commissioner and a city employee. I did offer up my spot to the department heads at the last department head meeting, and I was unanimously chosen to stay to go to Rotary, which is great. But if there is a city commissioner that would like to go, there is a position open and budgeted for. Otherwise, we can leave things alone, save a little bit, and continue to have ex-Commissioner Shantz attend. But like I said, again, there is a position available for the 4 of you, or frankly the 5 of you, for anybody that would be interested in going. It's every single Tuesday at 11:15.
Commissioners?
I can't.
You can't?
No, I can't.
No.
No, absolutely not.
Boy, Ted,
Once
I
a
thought
week.
you were jumping and said I can. I was like, wow. Okay.
They're very good about the attendance. There's been I probably missed 3 or 4 meetings in a row once just because of the workload here, and so you don't get kicked out if you don't attend. The other thing that I'd like to bring up is, some people are saying, well, why would we use taxpayer dollars for this?
this was solely the or I don't want to say responsible act, but this is how we got the carnival, which we saw how much money the city benefited from on that carnival alone. So just these tiny things where these civic organizations get together, I think it's important for the city to have some involvement in there, and this one certainly proved to be worth its weight in gold, so to speak. So again, if there is a commissioner that would like to go, we can carpool together and try to make it as many Tuesdays as we can. Otherwise, Commissioner Shantz, in her capacity that she can make it, will try to attend as much as she can.
And Commissioners and City Manager, I know that starting out I was in that position, and I know that Commissioner Shantz went ahead and took over because I had become president of the Mayor's Council, and I had finished up my term as Mayor's Council. So I do have a little more free time, even though I'm still a representative to the Mayor's Council. So I do have free time on that, and I think the City Manager's right. It's good networking. I know that Mayor Minning is there and other business owners, and I believe doing the carnival, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. City Manager, I believe it was $20,000 they donated to the city of
I
Madeira
don't
Beach.
remember what the check amount was, Mr. Andrews, or do you remember what the?
$21,000.
So
There you
it's-
go.
So I
Thank you,
think,
Doug.
being able to work with them more than pays, I don't think the membership's anywhere near that.
I think it's $250 a quarter.
Okay.
So it's about $1,000 a person that attends, and so, again, I think it's very worthwhile. We're a lot of us are stuck here because of everything that we've got our hands in, but it's important to get out and do a little networking. Mark Hubbard is, a member there. There's plenty of Madeira Beach businesses represented at that Rotary, so I would certainly recommend that we fill the seat.
Commissioners, what's your pleasure?
I have a full plate.
I would do it.
I think I heard the mayor volunteer, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I think you should open up.
I can do it, but it wouldn't be every Tuesday. You said it's every Tuesday at 11:15.
It's every Tuesday. You're supposed to try to arrive by 11:30. They have lunches provided, and then they have a meeting from 12 until 1.
And Commissioner
I'll do
Hodges,
it.
if you
I'll
like
do
to,
it.
and yeah, would you like to do
I'll
it?
do
It's
it.
a great group, and it is a great chance to network and work with actually there's a lot of other leaders around up and down the beaches that
Sure.
also attend.
But like I said, I couldn't do it every Tuesday.
I can't make it every Tuesday
Okay.
either, so
All right.
hopefully between the two of us, one of us
All
can
right.
go, and then
Sign me
when
up.
we
I'll
both
do
can
it.
go, we can go together.
Sure, I'll do it.
Excellent.
All right.
Thank you, Commissioner Hodges. All right, next discussion on chair, umbrella, candidate, and contract serving at Archibald Park, Mr. City Manager.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. If you go back in time, when we decided to renovate the snack shack, we put out for bid separately the beach vending there and the snack shack. And when we did that, a lot of people structured their bid thinking that they would get the other bid. So for instance, the vendor that we had doing the beach vending thought that they had a very good shot at getting the snack shack contract as well. And so possibly bid too much in regards to the rent that they had to pay us to rent chairs there, frankly. Also, geographically, their home base, so to speak, was too far away to just make sure that, the employees that they were hiring were showing up for work, that it was being done in an orderly fashion, that they were following the extent of the contract, so to speak, et cetera, et cetera. Long story short, the owner of the company came to me and said, hey, listen, I'm getting murdered. There's a clause in the contract that says we can sever this contract 90 days without cause, and I completely concur, and I allowed it administratively. I believe, and I was a signatory to the contract, so administratively I think I had that right. What I'm asking you to do, or at least give me the thumbs up on, is the contract for all the beach walkovers is up at the same time. I think it expires here in August. So I've written an RFQ, and an RFQ is a little different than asking for bids, because as simple as it might seem to be to rent chairs and paddle boards and umbrellas and things of that sort, there's a science to it, and we don't have the expertise to it. And I've talked to a number of different companies, and everybody does it differently. So what I'd like to do is put a request for qualifications out, see what we get and see what those proposals are and see what fits our beach best. But what I'd like to do is do it for one vendor citywide instead of having different vendors in different spots. That way Dave and I can we've got one guy when it comes to beach vending, and or gal or business or organization, and we know where to go. So if that's okay, it's an update that I severed the contract with the beach vendor at Archibald Park. He will be operating for the next 90 days or until we find a replacement. I said, if I get a replacement within 90 days, I'll relieve you of your obligation to continue on. And then B, as long as you're aware that we are going to bid out the contract that's expiring at the walkovers. I think there's, Dave, help me out, maybe 6, 7 locations that we have beach vending at the walkovers. We don't do it at every single walkover. Is it every single one? All right. So I think there's how many other, 10, 11, 12? There we go. So we have 12 locations where we have, you know, and it's not a tremendous amount of vending, just enough that, you know, if anybody walks over, they can rent a chair and do that. But some of the, you know, either, you know, you go to Caddies and you don't pay for anything, but you tip the guy that helps you out, and, you know, that money somehow recirculates, or the chair is $5, an umbrella is $3. We're looking for, you know, the most unique way to structure this and how it fits Madeira Beach. So when that comes in, I'll be asking, and it's not due until September. There'll be a committee formed internally of staff, but we would like one of the commission members to join us. And I don't need a volunteer now, but when that time comes, I'll put out an email. And if anybody wants to volunteer to be on that evaluation committee, we'll probably be able to do it in a day. So that's just an update on where we're at. And if everybody's comfortable with that and I got a consensus, that's how I'd like to proceed.
Actually, Mr. City Manager, I'd like to ask Mr. Marsicano one thing, if maybe this might be able to be put on the bid. And I know that me and Marsicano had a discussion on this. And I mean, we're sitting there trying to be greener. We've been talking to Greg Tong and everything else. And I know just to make a less big of a footprint or out there on the beaches, getting a company, when you're putting in that request for qualifications, that maybe be using an ATV out there instead of pickup trucks, four-wheel drive pickup trucks. And I think there's things coming along anyways that I think are going to require lighter vehicles like that, isn't there?
Yes, DEP is now requiring, with the sea turtle issues and just the environmental awareness that we all have now, they want low-impact utility vehicles to be used out on the beaches. They don't like the trucks out there. That's why you see the John Deere that we have now. Those type of utility vehicles are what they request we use now.
So maybe, I mean, given them
It's
so much
already in the
storage, I think
RFQ.
you got enough storage area down at the marina.
It's already in the RFQ that
Okay,
it would be,
perfect.
that they have to consider the fact of how they're gonna move their equipment around, where they're gonna store it, if they're gonna store it on site, that they bring it up past the coastal construction line, that everything's done in an orderly fashion. You know, we do have, I mean, I had a complaint today about the way that the porta-johns are lined up and that they weren't lined up correctly. We also have people that complain that when they drag the chairs out, they create a rut and people are gonna trip over that rut.
Beach.
Yeah, right, I know. So there's a whole lot of issues that these people can come out and say, you know, are they gonna, you know, place their things and then re-rake, you know, those types of things. And so a lot of these companies take this, it's a pretty sophisticated way they do it. And so I'd like to see what they've got. And like I said, we'll bring it back to you. I think in September is when it's probably due. So there's plenty of time between now and then. But I wanted to sit out there long enough that we can get some qualified companies.
Okay. What's your pleasure, Commissioner?
So was the contract up in September?
The contract is up at the walkovers in August, but August and September we've got, there's a little bit of a lull there to get people up and running, so that's why we did that. The contract at Archibald Park would be up in October.
And that was Peter, that's the guy that had the contract at Archibald Park?
It was called Advantis was the company out of Dunedin.
And how long has he had it? Do you know?
Dave, how long has that been? 3 years. Yeah. He showed me the financials. When he showed it to me, it was just obvious that, and he was frank with me. He fully expected to get the snack shack as well, so he overbid on the paying us the rent for the rentals on the beach, and it just wasn't a good situation.
And I empathize with him. I understand he might have underbid himself, but I'm just saying, you know, he was here for the good season, and then for the summertime, when it gets hot and nobody's here, he wants to leave, so.
Well,
he has 90 days to do whatever he wants to do. I just wanted to make sure that he doesn't get to jump back in the pot and, you know, when the season starts in January.
Well, he won't be bidding.
I don't know if I can ban him from doing anything.
That's why we're doing our request for qualifications. So we have ultimate authority then to base it off the qualifications and then negotiate with the top one.
I just don't want him to cherry pick, that's what I'm saying. I don't want him to be able to cherry pick.
There will be no cherry picking.
No cherry picking, we're good then. I'm good with that.
So we got pleasure to let the city manager move forward.
Certainly.
Okay, thank you. Next, discussion on annual and daily event, special event parking permit to add fishing tournaments and city center events. Mr. City Manager.
Yes, thank you again, Mr. Mayor, and this will be something that we're going to have to ask the city attorney to obviously amend and get in front of you at a future meeting. But, you know, we have that resolution where we kind of allow parking on, I think I used the Green Bay analogy where, you know, you can park your car in your front yard because we're so strapped for parking on certain event days, holidays, so on and so forth. Well, these fishing tournaments and such have definitely proven to be holiday-type weekends for us, and so we'd like to at least add the fishing tournaments and again, like tomorrow night with this concert, any major city center event that we have that's going to prove to be problematic from a parking standpoint, that we would allow people to come on in for a permit, and for a certain price per day, they can park cars on their driveways or their front lawns or however they wish, legally. They can't be parked on the sidewalks or, you know, city-owned, you know, islands or anything like that. But this is already on the books. We're just wanting to add a couple extra days to alleviate some of the parking pressure.
Mr. City Attorney, is that something you want to look into and get back on this, or is there?
It's a resolution. What
Okay.
we'll do is we'll repeal the one that we adopted, or you adopted in 2014, and update it. And it's not a big deal. I just need to know the dates to make the resolution. I'll get with Shane on that.
All right.
Dave, help me out here. The dates would probably be wrong. We'd have to almost categorize it as the title of the event, not necessarily the dates, right? Because of the fishing tournaments.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Commissioner, what's your pleasure?
I don't see a problem.
David? Okay, fantastic.
Okay.
Next discussion on BOC resolution number 2016-03 regarding short-term rentals and home rule. I'm sure, Commissioners, did you get a chance to look at that resolution that was put together by the Bear Island Council?
Absolutely.
All right, I didn't imagine there was going to be any issues with y'all rejecting us moving forward with that. And I can go ahead and let y'all know that we've also been working with Manatee County, Dade County, and a few other counties around with elected officials to move this forward. And actually, Senator Jack Litball has been working with us on this, so it's getting a little bit of traction. We're also, our next step will be bringing this to the Mayor's Council to get approval for it, and then going to the Board of County Commissioners. So I thank you for your support on that this evening.
Absolutely.
You're doing the right thing, because that's what it's going to take.
And
Everybody
Commissioner,
on board.
Commissioner Poe, you're absolutely right, and we've started working down through Manatee County, so we've had meetings
Yeah.
with that, and Senator LaValla has been a great help. I've
Yes,
got to
he
thank
is.
the senator very much. Next, discussion on graphics on new Golf Boulevard bus stops, and I guess, Mr. City Manager, you want me to take that one since?
Go for it.
All right, I'm sure everybody has seen the new bus stops on Golf Boulevard, and it's vastly improved from our old bus stops. You know, going along with everything else that's going on Gulf Boulevard and Madeira Beach, since the walkways, the palm trees, and I want to thank Deb Laramie, her fantastic job out there doing landscaping. But I hate to steal an idea from another city, but if you go through Indian Shores, you'll see on their bus stops, they've actually got their city logo on their bus stops. So I was kind of wondering, just to throw out there, and I know Commissioner Lister's big into city branding, but using the city logo and putting it on the bus stop so you know you're in Madeira Beach. I know there's not a lot of areas where we can do signage to say you're in Madeira Beach, but I think this would be one way to recognize it. Commissioner Lister, you got a big smile on your face. What do you got? What's up?
I'm good with that.
No, I didn't like the look you were giving me down here.
I
Okay.
would put banners on every pole if I could. Every pole, Madeira Beach. Every
And
pole.
Mr. City Manager, I know that you've kind of looked at maybe a little bit of budgetary items on that. I don't know. And actually, what I would like to do is actually go out and get some sponsorship for this. I think that we have enough people in the graphic business in the city where we could actually make some phone calls and I think maybe get a little bit of sponsorship to it.
Yeah, I think that the graphic part of it, we could definitely get sponsored. The actual application might be a little bit more difficult. I had, Frank DeSantis is in the audience, and I got a text from him. We contacted Signal and then the people with the bus stops. We originally wanted to, and I think this was at Commissioner Lister's request, the signage that goes in the slot that says, advertise here or whatever, that they would allow us to put the Madeira Beach logo on that, and we just got that approved. And then Indian Shores did what they did. So we're working with them to see if we can do that, but we haven't gotten any feedback back of whether or not we can do that or not. So I think it's a great idea. You know, we'll need some budget money to do it, but we can definitely get it done.
Commission, any thoughts or?
If you haven't
Sounds
seen them
like
in
a winner.
Indian Shores, you gotta check them out. I
Yeah,
mean,
if you haven't seen them,
totally,
it looks-
I believe Indian Shores is a county road and not a state road.
that's gonna be the problem.
Yeah, that's always the problem. But, you know, our small logo can go up on the bus stops, that's for sure.
Well, we've already got that approved. That's gonna happen.
Okay.
So, let's give Frank another 30 days to work with him and see if we can, you know, get our logo on the actual structure itself, or, you know, at least Madeira Beach or some sort of Madeira Beach type thing, and we'll get back to you at the next workshop or at the next BOC meeting.
And I like they just flow with the beach a little bit. They got a little greenish tint to them, so it kind of works, and I know it's better than what's been out there the last 2 decades. All right, thank you, Commissioner and City Manager.
Mr. Mayor, we don't want to put a whole bunch of money then to that, though, if we're gonna go ahead with the idea of replacing a couple
Right, that's
every
what I'm saying,
year. So
there's-
we gotta do the give and take thing. So I think what it comes down to is a business decision on how much that would cost and how much, you know, participation from a sponsorship level, like you said, which is a really good suggestion that we could get, so. Give us 30 days or 60 days to play with it, and we'll get back to you.
All right. Next, discussion and review of updates to fees and collection procedure manual and resolution 2016-24, Mr. City Manager.
Yeah, I know you guys are probably getting sick of seeing this, but, you know, as we evolve, you know, Michelle Orton is new to this staff, and she found some updates she wanted. As things continue to evolve in Doug Andrews' world, he had some on there, so did Frank in the building department as well. So, again, this is a fluid document. We certainly don't want to get in front of you every day. Amy's waving at me over there.
And just wanted to point that out, that on page 10, the event parking, we have it listed as an annual permit for the 5 soon-to-be more events
Yeah.
is $100, but we have it listed as daily 25, and we just need to clarify if it's going to be daily or for like a weekend event.
We want that daily, correct?
So if there's a 3-day event, they would pay $25 per day?
Per day.
Okay.
Correct. If that be the will of the commission, obviously. Because there's days like the 3rd of July, that was our actual 4th of July, that we would consider that a holiday. That's a one-day thing. But one of the fishing tournaments can actually ask from Thursday to Saturday night, sometimes even Sunday. So they would have to pay per day because it's per event, but some of the events are obviously more than one day. So that would be my recommendation, but it's up to the commission.
And that's just for the city center, that's not looking at John's Pass for?
It's
fishing
for any of
tournament?
those holidays.
Okay.
So, you know, like Seafood Fest, I think that's a 4-day event. So they,
Right.
you know, if somebody wanted to, Mayor, if you want to park cars on your driveway that day, you'd have to pull a $25 permit for the 4 days, so it'd be $100.
Or pay $100 for the year?
Or pay for
all the
$100 for the
events.
year, which is
Yeah.
quite a deal if you want to do
Yeah,
that.
if you did it for the entire year. Commissioners, any?
And that $100 per year fee, we'll have to see how that goes and see how many people take advantage of that in a good way. But we may want to adjust that if that gets out of control at some point. Back to number 9, though, if there's any, again, these are, you've seen this resolution or ordinance in front of you, or it's a resolution probably 6 times in the last 8-10 months. So if you have any questions on the fees, otherwise staff recommendation would be for approval, and I believe that's on your agenda for this evening.
Right, and Mr. City Manager, I know it's been in front of us a couple of times, but I know we're doing a lot more things than the city's ever had in the last few years. So I think there's 24 new events going on, this whole new city center. I've been watching the events going on across the street, so I mean, you've got a lot going on, so I understand there's gotta be
Yeah, I think,
a little working.
yeah, I
what's
think
going on.
Doug Andrews' department continues to evolve, you know, Frank's as well, and then now that Michelle's had some time here, she noticed some fees that were just a little bit outdated and wanted to get those adjusted or created, so. Again, if there are any questions, all the department heads are here, otherwise we would recommend approval at the 6 o'clock meeting.
Okay, Commissioners? All
No
good?
problem.
Good for me.
That's fine.
Okay. At this time, seeing no further business, this meeting is adjourned at 5:33 PM.